G'day, guys. How are we? Welcome to the weekly roundup, giving you all the latest boxing news as you head into the weekend. Let's start with the Australian scene. Last weekend, John Manu won the Australian super lightweight title with a 10-round decision over Blake Minto in Sunshine, Melbourne. He'll fight again on December 16 at the Melbourne Pavilion. Onto this weekend, massive weekend for Aussie boxing. Justis Huni will be in action against Anthony Tabiti in Cancun, Mexico. Justis Huni 7-0 up against Tabiti, who's 20-1. His only loss was in a world title fight 4 years ago. That's on the undercard of the Oshaki Foster Eduardo Hernandez WBC Super Featherweight title fight. You can catch all the action on DAZN from 12 p.m. on Sunday, Australian Eastern Time. So check that one out. And a little bit of hypothetical stuff going on here. Tim Tszyu, could we see him in action against Terence Crawford next year? Now, the reason I ask that is because Terence Crawford, of course, he's the undisputed welterweight champion. One of those belts obviously includes the WBO belt. Tim Tszyu is the WBO 154-pound champion. Now, Crawford has the option, if he wants to move up to 154, to become Tim Tszyu's mandatory challenger. And with Canelo Alvarez tied up for the time being, we're not sure what's happening with the Spence rematch, although it is rumoured to be in February, but we'll see what happens with that. Tim Tszyu, of course, will fight in March. So after that one, could we see Tszyu Crawford for the WBO 154-pound title in what would probably be Las Vegas, I'm assuming? What a massive thing to look forward to for not just Aussie boxing, but world boxing fans as well. So we'll keep an eye on that one. On to the world scene, again, touching on last week's results. Jorge Linares has announced his retirement following a loss to Jack Catterall. Linares 47-9. Lost to Catterall, who's 28-1 by scores of 116, 112 times 2 and 117, 111. So all the best to Jorge Linares in his retirement, one of the all-time greats, and in my opinion, a future Hall of Famer. So all the best to him in his retirement. On to this weekend. Well, he's back. Tyson Fury. It's been a long time out of the ring. 33-0. He's going to take on crossover not MMA, MMA champion Francis Ngannou. They fight this weekend in Saudi Arabia for, well, it's not really for a title. I suppose it's just a bragging rights title. Look, I for one won't be watching it. I'll obviously watch the replay or highlights a little bit later, but they would fight for massive money this weekend. Now, he's going to fight. This is probably one of our jokes of the day, really. He looks like he's in one instance, he's going to retire. Now he's been talking about fighting or signing a 10-fight deal after this fight with Francis Ngannou. Now, this is a guy, as I said, who's been talking about retirement. 1 minute he's talking about fighting for free. Then he's talking about only fighting for $100 million purses. Very, very hard to get a grasp on what Tyson Fury's up to these days. I think he's obviously following in his dad's footsteps. But yes, he has announced that after this fight, he will possibly seek a 10-fight deal. Make of that what you will. Is it a joke of the day or whatever? But it's staggering to hear him say that. And what's even more staggering is he's actually scheduled to fight Alexander Usyk on December 23 in Saudi Arabia. Now, this is a guy that's only fought, sparingly over the last few years. Can he turn around on an 8-week time frame against Usyk for the undisputed heavyweight title? I doubt it, but stranger things have happened. Apparently, Usyk's not even in training at the moment, and we're 8 weeks out or less. So I doubt it's going to happen this year. But at this stage, the powers that be are still saying it's going to be December 23 in Saudi Arabia. Again, I doubt it, but we'll see what happens there. This weekend as well, history will be made. Amanda Serrano will defend her undisputed featherweight championship against Daniela Ramos in Orlando, Florida. Serrano 45-2-1, Ramos 12-2. The reason this is historic and a world first is because these girls will fight over 12 3-minute rounds. Normally, world title fights are 10 2-minute rounds. This one will be, for the first time ever, 12 3-minute rounds for the undisputed featherweight championship there. So really interested to see how the girls handle the 12-3s. I got no doubt Serrano will handle it okay. Let's see how Ramos does, if in fact it does go the distance. Big fights that have been announced coming up on December 26 in Tokyo, Japan. Naoya Inoue, 25-0, will fight Marlon Tapales from the Philippines. He's 37-3 for the undisputed 122-pound title or super bantamweight. It'll be live on ESPN. Inoue holds the WBA and IBF belts. Tapales holds the WBC and WBO straps. So a massive fight on Boxing Day. Inoue, Tapales for all the marbles at 122. So really looking forward to that one. Another fight that's been made is Chris Billam-Smith. He will fight Mateusz Masternak for the WBO cruiserweight title on December 10th in Bournemouth in the UK. Billam-Smith is 18-1. Masternak is 47-5. These names probably sound familiar to Aussie fight fans because Masternak turned down the opportunity to fight Jai Pattaya for the IBF belt, and Chris Billam-Smith has been touted as a future opponent for Jai Pattaya as they look to unify the cruiserweight title. One fight, though, that is not happening, and that is Floyd Mayweather up against Mikey Garcia. Now, it was rumoured that these two would be fighting in an exhibition fight on December 9th in Las Vegas on Showtime, in probably the last fight night ever on Showtime Boxing, apart from the pay-per-views, of course. I think there's 2 or 3 happening in 2024. But this is the card that Michael Zarafa was supposed to be fighting on, because Erislandy Lara is fighting Danny Garcia on this card, and Keith Thurman will fight Stanionis on this card as well for the WBA interim belt or one of those secondary belts. But as I said, this fight, Floyd Mayweather, Mikey Garcia, was rumoured to be the main event. Floyd Mayweather still looking to be on that card, but it won't be against Mikey Garcia. And finally on the world scene, Canelo Alvarez. There's been some names leaked on his 2024 schedule. He normally fights in May and September. The May opponent looks like at this stage might be Jaime Munguia, all rumoured, of course. Looks like being Cinco de Mayo weekend, which is always the first weekend of May. And then possibly David Benavidez if he gets past Andrades on November 25. That will be his September opponent, which is normally the second week of September. Some other fights are going to get past first, so these fights are going to happen. Jaime Munguia is scheduled to fight John Ryder in January, and David Benavidez is scheduled to fight Demetrius Andrade on November 25 in Las Vegas. And a couple of jokes of the day to finish up. Of course, we already had the Tyson Fury 10-fight deal rumors that he's putting out there. Still on the Fury family, his dad, John, he's trying to line up a fight with Mike Tyson. If you watched the press conferences this week, he's doing everything he can to goad Mike Tyson into a fight. I don't know why he would possibly want to fight Mike Tyson, considering that John Fury was a very, very average fighter back when he was fighting. He had an 8-4 record. 59 years old is John Fury. He wants to fight 57-year-old Mike Tyson. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But in this day and age of YouTube fights and novelty fights, who knows? And then the other joke of the day, and it features our man Canelo Alvarez, who's 60 wins, 2 losses and 2 draws. He's actually just putting dangling the cheese out for all of us out there that he could fight Conor McGregor, probably in the biggest joke that anyone could possibly tell. I think that is a 1 or 2 round job that would happen in that fight. Canelo obviously is just a beast. Conor McGregor, who's got pretty much pillows for fists with the gloves on. He would be fighting a much bigger Canelo as well. So hopefully that fight doesn't happen. It's one thing to fight a Floyd Mayweather who's carrying you over 10 rounds. It's a different situation to fight Canelo Alvarez, who would be looking to make a statement to put these novelty fights to rest and would be in kill mode. So let's hope that doesn't happen. But stranger things have happened. That's about it for this week's wrap-up. Not a lot going on, but we've still got to cover it each week as we go. Hope you have a great weekend. Enjoy the fights, and we'll catch you next week.